All right, guys, cool beans. So looking at the dollar, right? Um, I posted in the group yesterday that I wanted to see how we opened up and how we reacted to Friday's premium array, right? Um, I'm sorry, Thursday's premium array, right? It's Thursday's candle here. So we came up into that premium array Friday, but we never got a chance to see a reaction off of it, right? So that's why I said I wanted to see how we reacted to that PD array, Thursday's PD array when we opened up today. Now, Friday's PD array hasn't been retested yet, haven't been touched. So that's what my eyes on now, being that we did not close above Thursday's PD array today, right? We ran Friday's high, right? But we closed below Friday's high and below Thursday's PD array, right? We see the PD array right here, 62.79. We see we close below that. So that leads me to believe that the dollar did see, should I say, would like to come back down and retest Friday's discount array, right? What do you notice that Friday's discount array is sitting inside of? Well, if you get zoom out to a bigger view, you can see that that's sitting right inside of that daily fair value gap. So that is a extra strong level, being that we are on a high time frame, dollar time frame, and this PD array, which is already um strong level, is sitting inside of a daily fair value gap. So I'm looking for one or two things when price action gets back to this level, if and when it gets back here. We could blow to the upside um, throughout the rest of Asian markets and going into London. However, if price does pull down to this kind of rate, I'm looking for one or two things. I'm looking for it to just blow through there with aggressiveness, or I'm looking for a respect and an aggressive push off of it back to the upside to run today's buy side. Right. So that's what I'll be looking at out of the dollar moving forward. Right. Hope you guys with me. Pretty simple. All right, we know that our currency pairs are inversely correlated with the dollar. So if I'm looking for bearish moves to the discount rate from the dollar, then I'm looking for bullish moves to the discount rate for currency. So we are looking for Euro USD to pull back up into Friday's discount rate. Um, see this, and I mean we didn't really get a lot of movement. You could throw your PD array on there if you want to, and boom, you see that that PD array is sitting right inside of this daily fair value gap, just like the dollar is. Um, just like the PD array for the dollar is sitting inside the daily fair value. So the PD array for today's candle is sitting inside that daily fair value gap. So I am looking price could now, Euro could want to pull a fake out to come back down into this daily fair value gap in that PD array from today and then shoot back up to give us a retest of Friday's PD array, or we could just blow through it. And then if we did blow through it to the downside, of course, we would be targeting sell side liquidity to the downside. So yeah, that's what out of Euro USD in GBP USD as well. Pull back up into the PD array. You just run sell side liquidity from today and so forth and so forth. If price action decides to run low. Um, Same thing with NZD USD, looking for a pullback into Friday's PD array. Pretty clean, it's clean cut, drawn out for you. Your chart should look like this as well if you're marking your daily ranges. I mean, you can mark Monday up too. Let me see. NZD probably just run up. I don't see too much of a need for it to get down. Mm, yeah. And what happened to my I had that fair value gap for NZD mark. That's a good yeah, it's a big city right there. No price gonna want to get up in there. No price gonna want to get up in that thing. So yeah, what's that from? May the 24th. That last Wednesday before last. Yes. Man, that's a big imbalance. Big city sitting right above Friday's buy side liquidity. So I wouldn't be surprised. Wait for Corman to go over fundamentals, but I wouldn't be surprised for somehow impacting news driver to be the catalyst to push us up. And that makes sense, being that we're looking for pullbacks up to PD arrays for GBP USD and Euro we add metals. Don't start this. Oh, that was silver that I had that marked up. Not NZD USD, but okay, that's cool. That's cool. Um, keep pushing the downside, but I want to see us pull back up into Friday's PD array, and we got this imbalance like we had on NZD USD right above Friday's buy side liquidity. So metals and currencies usually correlate. So let's see if they give us some correlation this week. I used to keep my chart black. Yeah, so that's what we want to look for out of silver. And if we break below this low, then we'll be expecting silver to drop down into this daily fair value gap from March the 13th. How about that? And gold, Friday. I mean, I don't want to disrespect the science. Let me see. Those last daily count. So it's too much. Yeah. Yeah, we ain't gonna disrespect. Put my PD arrays on it. If we break below this PD array, then I'll be looking for silver to come down and run today's sell side liquidity. If we respect that, then of course I'll be looking for us to push it. Uh, Friday's PD array. This silver. Yeah, so that's enough. Like, um, I ain't gonna keep these on there. Just keep your eyes on your premium array from Thursday. Oh no, that's Friday. Yeah, Fridays. You so um, because I want to see us pull back up into the. We didn't get a pull back up into levels look a little off for some reason. Oh, they right. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Um, the textbook thing to do for though would be to pull back down into today's PD array, but we could just, being that we already started that bullish run, right? We could just see it continue on up without pulling back to today's PD array. We could just see it run up into Friday's PD array and then give us a reaction off of there, either to come back down and run today's sell side liquidity or to push us up into that daily fair value. Be mindful of all of that. Um, Oil, I really think when we get above $75, we're gonna see oil run. We had this massive liquidity void here. Remember, a liquidity void is when there is a gap in price, meaning there's nothing there. So anything else is just imbalance or a CB or a BC. But this is what the mentor considers a liquidity void. It means that it's void of price action. That's what it means. So we had this liquidity void here, right? We popped up to my level, to my structure, right? And then we um failed. We chopped through, we cut down through all those levels, right? So now what I want to see is when we get back above, or when we get back above this level here, I want to see us fly from 75 off of this liquidity, off the closing of this liquidity board from March 31st, Friday, right? So that work out. And then if and when we get above here, I'll be looking for us to run all up to 129, 130. So that's the play for oil. We've been waiting on that play, but it's gonna come. Just make sure you execute when it comes. Um, futures, futures look kind of crazy right now. So this is a liquidity board, daily liquidity board for futures to the top. I think I marked that on the weekly time frame though. Let me see. So the close of this wick, the high of this wick, the closing of this candle, and then I got that consequent encroachment in, and that's what I was looking for price to run up into last week, that 4304.75. I was looking for that. I was looking for us to run up into that Friday. So I had called it on Twitter the high of the day, but we did not get there to today, which is cool. We hit it today, sold off of it beautifully, came back down um, to retest that low, that lower level of that void, right? Ran Friday's high today. So with that being said, being that we ran up into that void, ran Friday's high, and we sold off of it the way we did, I am convinced and expecting price to pull back down into Friday's PD array. Um, yeah, we sold beautiful. So, I mean, we are already there. Only thing we gotta do is just fall down into it. What? How many more? 20 handles, yeah. So, uh, we could see a push back up into that liquidity void. Let me see. We got a fair value. Yep, we got a fair value gap right there. So, be looking for us to pull back up in there maybe and give us a play. Um, However, if we break above that value gap right there, then futures could be bullish and wanting to give us some more upside. That's what I'd be looking at for. Yes. And I think Dow and Nas look pretty much the same. Yep. Pull back into Friday's PD array for Dow. Right. And you know, Nas been doing NQ, Nas been doing her own thing. So she been setting new yearly highs. She just keep pushing, keep pushing. So um didn't really have a lot of price action today. You see the candle. I didn't even want to put this on candle. We did pull back into today's PDL rate. If we hold the PDL rate that we're at from today's candle, then NQ could keep flying to the upside. But I do got my eye on this daily fair value gap. What I got for futures, last but not least, crypto. Yeah. Oh yeah, we got some crazy crypto news today. They wanna boy, SEC, they always messing with people. They going after Binance, they going after Mana, they going after Sand, they going after a few currencies platforms. So that's probably why we see this sell off right here with that news. So that news could be the catalyst to push us back down into this fair value gap around 24,000, 22,000. So keep your eyes on that. We do got a structure right here, right? That price could come to right there at 24,800, I'm gonna say. 24,000, yeah, 730, 800 somewhere. So price could come back, retest us there, shoot back upside. But Keep your eyes on this daily here, and you don't want to see us fall outside this curve, but if we do, that would give us reason to believe we back down to 1700. And if we break that structure, DC right here, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, aka fair daily fair value. So if we respect the structure that we're at now, 22,000, I'm sorry, 2,200 is our next level. In eight, all the bad news we get, we see ape sell off more and more and more. Me, I still believe in Yuga Labs and everything that they're working on. They're working on some pretty amazing shit. So me, I'm still buying ape. I'm still buying ape. So, but as you know, not financial advice, just my educated research that I've done on the company, and I see massive upside for ApeCoin. Whenever we get past all this regulation that they want to do, everything, and once we start seeing things pumping again, I don't see a problem with us breaking ApeCoin all-time high. Take it for what it's worth. I'm still DCAN. So that's what I got for the beginning of the week technical analysis. At this time, I will bring it to a close and pass it over to Foreman. It's all yours, Corner.
Great. All righty. Well, I am going to keep this fairly brief. Um, so first of all, I thought it was funny. Somebody had reached out to me earlier today and said that somebody who's a leader in one of their groups told them to buy Apple, and they bought Apple, and Apple's like, you know, pulling away from the high. And they're like, well, what should I do? And I was like, well, you shouldn't have bought at the 52-week high. First of all, rule number one in purchasing a stock, if nobody ever tells you anything else about buying a stock, do not buy it at the 52-week high. And especially on a day when they had news come out. So Apple, if you did not get a chance to see WWDC today or see any of the highlights and you own an Apple product, I highly suggest that you go and watch it. It's like 2 hours on YouTube, but it's worth it. If you are into Apple, into their products, you're an enthusiast, you're an investor, um, iOS 17 is literally to put iOS on par with Android. It took forever, but iPhone is now on par with Android. And I felt like after watching it today, I was like, you know what? I could possibly like give up my Android and just only use my iPhone. But anyway, um, that um That conference today was pretty dope. If you are AR, VR, MR person and you like your head, they unveiled Apple Vision today and the headset. So dope. It's literally streamlined and it's interconnected between all Apple products. So let's say you're FaceTiming on your phone, you go put on your headset, you can drag your FaceTime to your headset and continue on your headset. And then let's say like you forgot to charge your headset and it gets ready to die, you can drag it to your iPad, or you could drop it to your MacBook or whatever. So that's a really cool feature. Another cool feature about it, and this kind of tells you where Apple is going to go, hint, hint, um, is you can see the person's eyes. So if someone has on the headset, you can see their eyes. I think, speculation, my thought process here, that Apple is eventually going to make these glasses smaller and make them more like true glasses, better function, but smaller. All the cameras and all the things that are in there, they track your eye movement. So if you hold your eyes in one position longer in one area, it'll select things without you having to use your hands, although you can use your hands. 3D video, gaming, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, um, they partnered up with Disney. So there's like a really nice partnership there that's been there for a while. It's been there for well over a decade that is continuing now with the headset. Um, the price is not for the faint of heart. It's like $3,500, but in my opinion, is it a good investment? Um, Considering that we are now in the age of buy now, pay later, uh, um, PayPal has like a version of later pay, Affirm, credit cards. Like now that we are more into, oh, I can have it now and just pay for it over time. I do have a feeling that there are going to be people who just get it just because they know that they don't have to pay that whole amount up front. And they will have some type of service like Affirm or PayPal or whatever to let them spread the payments out over time. As you see, inflation hasn't really gone anywhere. They've just changed the metrics for how they've priced items. So don't let that price freak you out because to be honest with you, I feel like the price of electronics is just going to continue to go up. So people are just going to have to get used to seeing higher prices. And in return, I feel like those services are just going to continue to be more valuable and expand and just gain more traction as time goes on. But back to the original point of how I even got to Apple, don't buy at the 52-week high. I don't care what it is. I don't care what stock it is, and I don't care how popular it is. Like 52-week highs are a trigger. Like when you look at anything that has hit a 52-week high, like Apple today, it did very well. But then you had the price of these glasses that came out and price dropped. If you look at certain markets and certain sectors will tell you how price could potentially move in the near to long-term future. 52-week highs are a really good indicator of that. And also looking at the market that they're in. So um like tech and pharmaceuticals, NASDAQ. You look at tech's had this huge run up. It's like, all right, great. But when does it end? If you listen to a lot of analysts, this isn't just one analyst here, there. This is a collective. If you listen to them all talk, they're profit taking. The second quarter of the year, which is the quarter that we're in now, tends to be a profit taking quarter. It tends to be a quarter where people reassess. They look at when they bought, they look at the 52-week high, they look at what they're holding. is that stock at or above, or not above, but is that stock within 10% of the 52-week high? Or is it at the 52-week high, meaning it's making new highs? If that's the case, and knowing we're going into the type of market environment where we have a Fed meeting coming up, we have the possibility for another interest rate increase or rates to stay the same, which is a high possibility, then it's like, all right, I might want to do some profit taking, because businesses tend to struggle and have a really hard time functioning in environments like that. So 52-week highs in the second quarter of the year aren't your friend. 52-week highs going into a possible recession or contraction in the labor market, in the business climate, is not your friend. Honestly, I don't know what Apple closed at, but if you look at your, well, if you take what Warren Buffett has and uses as a buffer, most of what gets bought doesn't get bought until at least it's at least 10 to 15% away from the 52-week high. And even then, for some stocks, oh my gosh, it still might be expensive. So it's like that might work as an overall gauge. If you're at least willing to pull back that much, you know you're going to make that much in profit to the upside when price swings. So if it's a strong business and it's just a mild pullback, I wouldn't freak out. However, another thing to consider is now that we've started shifting tides. So I think most people who are investing now didn't start investing until COVID. Even for those people who invested, um, let's say if anybody who started investing like after 2013, 2014 has been in an environment of cheap money, meaning you could go apply for any credit card you wanted, pretty much get it, not really have a extremely high credit card interest rate. You could go to the bank, get a loan, not really that big of a deal. Companies could go cheap money, either 0% or negative interest rates, depending. Banks, same thing. Most people have not experienced a time where the Fed has just really had to jack up rates, and jack up rates to the point where you feel the pain, or to the point where banks are having to think about whether or not to give you money, or to where the average credit card interest rate now is like 24%. Most people haven't had to deal with that. So in dealing with that, business climates change. So you go from having cheap money to now money is like, okay, you got to really think about the choices you make. This tells you a lot about companies and how stable they are and if they're going to be around. The same thing I said about cryptos. It really shows you a lot about the underlying business and how they've been able to manage their money. If these companies and these businesses have good cash flow, they have no problem. Same thing with you. Treat it like it's the same way you evaluate a business, you should be evaluating yourself. Do you have good cash flow? Meaning, like, are you spending less than what you bring in? Like, do you have a good cash flow, a good savings, a good emergency fund? Because like you don't know. Like, this is a point in time like now where people will have to really think about what to do, what's going to happen, so on and so forth. But um anyway, I have some notes. So I'm trying to read my notes and like get off of a topic and switch to another one. All right. So Palo Alto. So I'm gonna tie this all back in with Palo Alto. So they are replacing Dish Network on the S&P 500. Most people be like, okay, whatever. Well, Dish has been demoted to the S&P 600. Palo Alto has been upgraded to the S&P 500, which means now that the capital that had been diverted towards um, Dish is now going to go to Palo Alto. So if you look at their stock today, stock was popping. Typically that happens when stocks get exchanged out on an exchange like that. Back to the point that I was trying to make, or that I was making, about companies and how solid they are. When you look at these two companies against each other, you look at the growth potential, you look at the business model, you look at who is going to be used and who's going to have the best utility going forward, it's Palo Alto. Dish does not really have, I don't want to say they don't have the staying power, but they have not been able to make the pivot like some of these other companies have, like their rival DirecTV being able to offer an app, streaming services, having access to football, those sorts of things. Like Dish is just kind of stagnant. Eventually Dish will probably get bought out in some type of merger deal, just to acquire either a customer base or um anyway. Like I feel like these companies now, you really have to show like, okay, like I can do this, and prove yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. Um, and let's see. All right, at the beginning of the call, if you missed what I said, actually, I'm gonna go back really quick to Apple. Um, Apple also did like a huge spiel about healthcare and about Apple Health. So if that didn't catch your eye, if you watched WWDC, if you watched it and that didn't catch your eye, go back and watch it again, because Apple is showing you where they're going and what they're thinking about. They did not mention a lot. Oh, well, actually, they didn't mention anything really about AI, which is why I feel like their stock price kind of sold off, because everybody was kind of hanging on, hoping it was going to be like an Nvidia play, like they were going to say something about AI. No. And then also people didn't like the price of the glasses. But healthcare, on top of the technology behind the glasses, my thought process, again, but I feel like Apple is eventually going to replace going to the eye doctor. I feel like if you wear glasses and you put these on, you're going to be able to turn a dial, or you're going to be able to swipe across the screen until it gets clear. And it's going to set that as your vision level. Um, anyway, my thought process. But Apple is stepping into that realm where they could easily do that. Would it be for the person who has like some type of condition and they need to see a doctor and those sorts of things? Probably not. However, when you look at their iris technology and their eye scanning technology, I mean, it would be possible for you to sit at home and put these glasses on and have an appointment with your eye doctor and them tell you like, no, you need to come in because I can see you have pressure building up behind your eye, and I need to dilate your eyes to whatever. Anyway, that could be a thing. All right, now back to what I was going to say. So at the beginning of the call, I was talking about cryptos, and I was talking about how cryptos are actually useful. Not that they were not useful before, so don't take it like that. But um, outside of Bitcoin, Ethereum, finding a cryptocurrency that actually has like some type of use and utility, Electronium. So when the app for Electronium first came out, like I started mining it. I didn't know like what I was going to be able to do with it or anything. I was just like mining it because I was like, one day I'll be able to do something with this, or I'll be able to, convert this to dollars, the value. I was just thinking about all these different things. However, this app has been on my phone now for like 4 years, 5 years, probably more than that. And I've used the app before to help pay my grandmother's light bill. And I was just like, all right, literally have not touched the app. And I can promise you, I have not touched the app in like 2.5 to 3 years. It's just been sitting there. Well, my cousin calls me and is like, yeah, all the stores are closed. Can't like, you know, get anything. Then I had other family calling me like, hey, all the stores are closed. Can't, the internet's not working. We're having all these problems. So I'm on the phone with like my nearest and dearest. And I'm like, you know what? I want to try this. And you just have to let me know if it works. So I'm like scrolling through the app, looking at all these packages and stuff. And I just click on one. I'm like, all right, well, hopefully it works because I'd never done it for airtime. And it worked. So I was sitting there thinking to myself, like years ago, here I was just like mining electronium, wasn't even thinking about it, just like, oh, whatever. I knew the utility of paying the electric bill, but now in an environment where they're turning off the internet and all you have is your cellular service, or they're turning off the power and now you have to go find like a power bank and the only thing you can use as a medium of exchange is like electronium. It kind of puts things into perspective like, okay, if you can find cryptocurrencies that actually have a cause behind them and like real, and when I said, I mean like true utility. Like we talk about all these apps having utility. Like I don't care if it gets me into a party, that means nothing. I don't care if it gets me into a restaurant, that means nothing. Literally, I use this app with cryptocurrency. I had mine to be able to pay light bills, to be able to pay to top up airtime for my family in pretty much, I mean, you could call it right now like a war-torn country. They're like they're beefing really hard. That means something. That's true utility. If you can find a cryptocurrency that has heart, that has a soul behind it, and can really do something that will help benefit somebody else other than putting money into their pocket, like, yo, that's huge, huge. So when you hear people talk about cryptocurrency's dead, cryptocurrency doesn't mean anything, cryptocurrency doesn't, like, what's the purpose of cryptocurrency? Send them my way. I got receipts, evidence, texts, emails. Like I can show them the app, scroll. Like I got proof. Like cryptocurrency is not dead. Cryptocurrency will never be dead. How we use cryptocurrency is going to change, yes, but it doesn't mean it's dead. That doesn't mean that it's going anywhere, because when you look at the size of the market is too big to go anywhere. It's just you have to pivot and now change how you use it. So anyway, um that's that. And then the last thing on my list is there's like a lot of stuff going on now, and my heart, my thoughts and prayers and stuff really go out to like DC Young Fly and his family, because no one should lose a family member that young. We get on the call and we say it all the time, love and hug your family, let them know you love them while they're still here. But there are certain things that happen in life that hit home, Like, no one supposedly like should go for surgery and not make it out. Being 8 hours away by plane and not being able to get to someone hurts. That hurts even worse. Um, I Me knowing what it's like in the operating room, let me tell you something. Black women need to get a set of balls and buck up and just, excuse my language, fucking go to the gym, eat right, and work out. Because BBLs, liposuction, mommy makeovers, like any cosmetic surgery, when I tell you they are the most aggressive surgeries that they do in the operating room. Listen, I watch ortho surgery take mallets and like hammer screws in knees and backs and stuff. That's nothing compared to what they do to get a woman, quote unquote, looking right for a BBL. Give me 1 second, 1 second. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. All right. Um, those surgeries are super aggressive. So what happens is make incision and imagine taking a straw and just jamming it. That's what happens when women feel like their gut is too big and they want their stomach to be flat. Remember, all of your vital organs are right behind where you want that fat taken out. So just in there aggressively, because you have to move this suction back and forth or else you're going to suck everything out. What you do in, what you don't want. Aggressively. And then they spin that down and then they take another tube, jam it in a woman's butt, and aggressively move it around. Women wonder why they hurt so bad, why they can't lay a certain way. Like, if you saw a video of what happened to you, if women saw videos of what happened to them when they were in surgery, they probably want to sue the surgeon. It's aggressive. It's not fun and games. Love yourself. Like, there is a level of self-respect and a level of love that has to happen. Regardless of whether that was what happened to her, to Jackie or not. Just the thought process that it could have been that just lets me know like women just need to take a step back and realize like, okay, you are beautiful in your own way. If you don't like something about yourself, try to change it yourself. Like, there is no, like, surgeons will get mad at me, but there is no reason for any woman to have to go lay on somebody's cold operating room table where the room is 55 degrees with somebody sticking a tube down your throat to charge you $5,000 an hour for the room and for anesthesia for you to lay there and do something that all some hard work would have done for yourself. You could have did it for yourself. But anyway, I'm done. Um, Appreciate you guys listening. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back over to Mr. Levels so he can wrap up the call.
Saucy. Yeah, that's how we doing it up in here tonight. Yes, sir. Unicorn coming with the stuff as always, but no, dead ass serious though. Everything you were saying was like 100% true. And yeah, man, sure, man. I just hope that you know we can do better. I just hope we all can do better. But yeah, so at this time I'm gonna start the recording. Take it.